Hello and welcome to a Bit of Film podcast. I'm Hattie.
And I am James.
This podcast is for film lovers, spoiler chasers, and general banter. We are two Brits in lockdown with too much time on our hands talking about films.
We both hold degrees and jobs in the creative arts. Yes, our parents are so proud that it ultimately led to this podcast. So we might go into some behind the scenes or production elements you might not know or be familiar with.
We release episodes every 2 weeks, talking about the latest film and TV offerings. If you love excessive defending of plot holes and mispronouncing actors' names, this is for you.
Please be advised we discuss spoilers, so please turn off if you haven't seen or keep listening if you don't care.
This week we are talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 4.
Wakanda Special Forces member Io gives an ultimatum for Bucky to hand over Zemo or they will take him. The new Captain America, aka John Walker, joins the group to try and stop Carly, but we all know it isn't going to go according to plan.
Into it. So, I like this episode.
So sorry, you started off, you liked this episode?
I did actually. There were some dark moments, like...
Thank God we've got this on record, that you just said, I liked this episode. It was okay.
Well, stuff happened, which was, character building and plot moving forward, and... Yeah, no, I did. I felt... I've got a thing about Sam, which I'm really, really confused about, which we'll drop into later. But yeah, no, overall, I really enjoyed it, and as usual, Zemo steal the show.
Yep, 100% correct. It's still the Zemo show.
Yeah.
He still outshines the two leads. And also, I mean, is it Io? Is it Io? Is that how we're pronouncing it? AO?
It's AYO, so apologies if that's wrong. The Wakandan Special Forces member played by Florence Kasamba.
But even she, to a point, outshone Bucky and Sam.
Oh, yes. But I would say Sam did more this episode than Bucky, which is saying something.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. And that's because he had a conversation with Carly, isn't it?
Yeah. Something I read that said he was finally acting like Captain America, and it's like, yeah, he finally was. He was empathizing with somebody, which he hasn't really done before. Yeah,
well, there was a couple of parallels that I was seeing. This is on, obviously, everyone's breakdown of the episode. Yeah, there was some parallels being made to Steve. I think it was in Civil War.
Right.
It's when he's talking to Tony and they're talking about Wanda, and I think he snaps back at him like she's just a kid, and Sam does the exact same thing in this episode, which is, like you say, he's acting more like Captain America. He's also feeding into the fact that, because in Winter Soldier, I mean, it's a tiny little scene in Winter Soldier, but Sam is like he's almost doing like grief counselling with ex-soldiers. Like, that's part of his backstory, and that is of fed into this again here.
Can we dwell on this? For a man who specialises in grief counselling, why is he so shockingly awful at talking to Bucky? Like, the whole therapist thing from, like, the first episode, if he was actually a counsellor, you'd think he'd be a little bit more sympathetic.
Right, okay, I'm not saying he's got a professional qualification.
But he said, I counselled ex-soldiers.
Yeah, because Steve goes to see him in Winter Soldier right after he's done some sort of like group therapy session, so to speak.
Yeah, that's it. He says he used to counsel soldiers with trauma. And sorry, what is Bucky? Just out of curiosity? Why isn't Sam taking over this? This would have been really interesting.
Well, don't ask hard questions. Like, in terms of the flow, or the arc. The arc.
Yes.
Let's go with the arc. That is non-existent, apparently. We touched upon it in the first episode. The therapist was saying to Bucky that Sam had tried to get in contact with him. So they felt like it felt like Bucky was pushing Sam away, whereas Sam was trying to reach out. And ever since they met, it's felt almost like Sam's been trying to get rid of Bucky, and that has felt a little odd. It almost felt like it should have been the other way around. You're quite right.
I'm nodding to anyone listening to this.
Yes, you are. Yes. Very, yes. Yeah. She's agreeing with one of my points, which is a rarity, so let's take this opportunity. Yeah, I agree. It should have been the other way around. Yeah, Sam trying to counsel him in some way.
Yeah, Bucky should be the one with the reticence, not Sam.
Yeah. So the only way they could really have done that is if it had been reshaped that Bucky was going... Like, he was the man on the mission, and Sam was like, right, okay, well, you're not going alone, sort of thing. Whereas in this, it was a case of Sam ended up getting on the plane to go and investigate the Flag Smashers, and Bucky was like, oh, well, I'm here, I might as well come along as well.
I'm sorry, but your one sounds far more interesting, James. Like, why is this a question? You already have got Sam trying to, push forward a character moment. Yeah, that's already better. Anyway, before we go into that, can we talk about my favourite moment? Zemo with the tea, channeling Jeremy Irons in Justice League.
God.
and the very, very sexy dressing gown who makes him. He says something very threatening to Bucky and Sam of like, basically, if you're not taking this seriously, leave. And he says it in a silk dressing gown, and I'm just like, I'm loving this. This is just, how else do you completely just emasculate them in about 4 seconds?
I think what we're establishing is that Zemo can do no wrong, really, in these episodes.
I know.
He even creepily sings Bar Bar Black Sheep, and somehow I'm captivated by him.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry. He's totally channeling child catcher. Like, chitty chitty bang bang child catcher level of like, I've got sweeties, tell me all the secrets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of glad that there was a scene after that, because otherwise in the apartment, he's just like, Turkish Delight.
Yeah.
And I thought it was poison. I thought he was like poisoning Bucky and Sam to try and get away. I thought, well, this is very, very left field.
That's very dark.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's also, I love the fact that when Wakandan Special Forces that have a really cool name, and I can't remember what they're called.
Dora Milaje?
The Dora Milaje, that's the one. I mean, how cool is that? Yeah, when they come and basically to take Zemo, and he's just stood there looking very, very, very chill. And then the whole fight happens, and then Zemo's just there like drinking tea. Like he's not even.
I was just in love with it.
He's not even fazed by it, and then just like gradually walks backwards out of the room, and then clearly goes down a hole in the bathroom.
I loved it. I just loved it.
Well, no, exactly. So did I. I mean, I think we'll go back to that fight sequence sort of later on in this discussion. But 2 occasions of this episode where respective parties could have got the person they were chasing had John Walker not intervened.
Yes. John. Yeah. It was a heavy John Walker episode. This one, absolutely.
Which was good. I like that.
Yeah. He was basically the audience members just being like, get on with something. Fine, I'll do it. Oh, maybe not.
No. No. Something did happen in this episode, but he caused a lot of the problems.
Yes.
The thing that sticks out for me, when John Walker and Lamar find Bucky and Sam in, is it Prague?
It's definitely filmed in Prague.
Okay.
Wherever they are in
Prague.
Eastern Europe, Germany, whatever. Yep.
Prague or not Prague?
Yeah.
Is the fact that like they're at like opposite ends of a very long street and they're having a conversation. And it's like, no. Wait until you're next to each other and then start having the conversation. Don't shout across. It's like, where the hell have you guys been? And like, just let everyone. Basically, he has no subtlety. He was shouting across Prague with all the people sort of like around him, and like clearly they're going to recognize Captain America. They're going to recognize the Falcon and maybe the Winter Soldier. I don't know how he works publicity wise in the. I don't know. I just found that very funny. It was in terms of the way that the whole area, that whole scene was staged, so to speak. It was like, no, you can't have a conversation from that distance.
Yeah, but they wanted to make him feel like an idiot.
I'm picking up on a really small point.
Yeah, you really are. Like, which is weird because you're usually the one defending this, and I'm the one going, "This is a load of rubbish." No, I liked it. It made it seem like he was impatient. It made him seem like he was childish and not thinking through his actions, which to basically defined everything he did this episode. As I said,
No,
this is a weird change.
All I wanted from that. Oh, I've got plenty of good things to say about this episode, but that's a weird thing that just sticks in my head, only because it was in that true comedic fashion. I was kind of expecting, so John Walker's obviously shouting over to Sam and Bucky and saying, "You think 2 Avengers can walk around Prague and not get spotted?" I just wanted one of them to go, "What?" Say it again.
This is not a carry-on film, James.
It felt like it could have been that moment. I don't know. It was just so weird. But
dear.
yes, no, I think we need to go to the very first scene of this episode.
Okay.
The whole episode opens with like a whole 6 years ago kind of thing, and they're in Wakanda.
Oh yeah.
It's a scene with Io and Bucky around that campfire
With all the trigger words.
There,
yes.
Yeah, and she's there saying like, "You're ready," and then starts to go through the trigger words, and that whole sequence was just, I don't know, I really loved it. I just thought that I thought Sebastian Stan's acting in that. I don't know, I just really felt for him. And then it was the whole thing at the very end where like she says you're free, and I don't know, just the way he played that I thought was probably the best way. I mean, the best acting that he's done in the MCU, but he's been getting very little to do up to date. So it was just a nice little moment because we see that moment where he is free. That was completely obviously glossed over in the films.
No, that's true.
And for Bucky anyway, it's very
important for his character. Absolutely.
Yeah, because even in the first episode, he's recovering from his life as the Winter Soldier, and we're actually seeing that moment where he is free. And I don't know, I thought there was something really, really lovely about that, which completely obviously got flipped on its head during the fight sequence later on, where Io then makes his arm drop off.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the
And it's kind of
betrayal
like
in
that
that
whole
shot.
thing.
It was beautifully done.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it was really well done. I love those two elements together because it's kind of like Io saying like, you can do this, we trust you, blah blah blah, and then clearly they've incorporated some sort of failsafe into the arm that they gave him just in case he wasn't quite cured.
I on that
But no,
on that moment in Wakanda with Bucky, there was. I liked what they were doing, but
oh, don't pick this apart.
it was. I don't know. There was.
Oh,
I expected more. I'll be honest. That's the only way that I was like, oh, I thought that was. Oh, I thought you were gonna go a bit further with that. But no, you're right. It was. I thought she did a fantastic performance. I'm gonna say Florence because I don't want to say her name in case it's wrong. But she did a wonderful performance through the whole of this, and I loved what she was doing. But especially so, I expected more. But you're right. Maybe I'm just being mean.
when I was watching that scene, I did think Hattie will say, "I expected more."
You know me well, James. You know me well.
I was watching that scene and I'm thinking, when we talk about this episode, she is going to say, I was expecting more. If this was DC, if this was Zack Snyder, he would have made more of it.
I know it wasn't that I wanted them to play more. I think I wanted. I'll be honest. There was just a moment that he just felt like he looked a little constipated, rather than that he was like emotionally like improving. But I'm mean. But I was very glad they did it, and I did like what it was.
I can't believe you are picking apart that scene.
But
I can't believe
you didn't get
that.
a constipated face at any moment in that. Was it just me?
Well, no, I saw pain in his face. I mean, if that's a parallel, then fair enough. Yeah, I mean, in terms of what his expression was doing when she was going through all those words, it was a mixture between either he is waiting for the Winter Soldier to take over, or he is struggling, like the Winter Soldier is fighting, so to speak. It's either a fear element or a pain element. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. And then obviously the relief, the joy in his face when she got to the end and she said, "You're free." I thought it was really well done. Maybe they could have made more of it. I don't know. I don't know how they would have directed it otherwise. If it had been treated obviously in a film, completely different. If there'd been an episode about Bucky's recovery, completely different. But as an entry point to this episode, which then leads into obviously Bucky and Io having that confrontation in terms of regards to Zemo, it was a good place to start.
I'll be honest, James. This is just proving that this is the best episode so far, and the fact that even this bit, which I'm a little bit critical of, I'm still quite positive about. So I'm sailing high on this one. I'm quite happy with this episode. However much there could be improvements, but I'm quite happy.
Well, there could always be improvements. Yeah, I was slightly worried that we were going to see Chadwick Boseman in this scene.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
As soon as it came onto Wakanda, I thought, oh God, no, I'm not mentally prepared for this. If he filmed something before he passed away, no, not going to be able to deal with it.
The tears would just be too much. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean that would have been a harsh way to start the episode.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Make everyone emotional wrecks before it's even started. But yeah, no, I was I love that scene.
I really liked how they played. So they basically head to like a refugee centre. I don't know, kind of recovery area. So it's all full of like the school classrooms and such. And I really liked how they did the internationally displaced people. I actually really liked how they presented the fact that Sam and Bucky were trying to connect with these people, these refugees, for want of a better word. The fact that they'd had this really kind of like, they were in this place because before the blip, when the blip happened, they were able to be accepted by all these countries, and now suddenly they're back kind of as lost people, refugees, and back hated. I really liked how they presented that. And I really liked how they handled it, that, you know, Sam and Bucky were trying to help, and it just was like, I just don't trust, I can't trust you. And I thought that was really lovely. And this just, you've really got to basically prove it. Prove that you actually want this change. And it was kind of naive of Sam to think he could just walk in there, and Bucky to think that they could just be accepted. And then in the face of this kind of tragedy. So yeah, I really like that. The kind of questions I have are about the Pact Act and the Global Repatriation Council. Because I know we've had them discussed throughout the series, but I don't think we've had anything properly substantial about them. But I was going to check that with you.
No, not really. I think in the previous episode they were stealing supplies from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've kind of been name dropped in there, but never really explored. Yes. Yeah, no, you're quite right. They're just kind of this organisation, so to speak, that
UN-esque without being UN.
Yeah, but they're this organisation that's obviously tried to fix things, and that's prompted the the villain in quotation marks, the Flag Smashers, on their cause, so to speak. It's kind of a similar situation to how in in Spider-Man: Homecoming, Damage Control, I think it was called Damage Control. Basically, they were the organization that kicked out certain people, which then led Adrian Toomes to become the Vulture, to start stealing technology and like selling it on, so to speak. So I don't think they're much more than that, or they haven't been made to be much more than that at this point anyway. Not that I doubt they'll.
But I was going to say, well, I'm hoping that the ending circumstances, I don't know, what John Walker does at the end of the episode, I wonder if it's going to have something to do with the Council and the Pact Act. I wonder if there's going to be some links with that, of like how to pull back Captain America.
Well, I don't know. Are we assuming that Captain America is... Sorry, John Walker. I'm just going to call him John Walker. He's working for the government, so to speak. He's not working for any of these sort of repatriotism or displacement.
True.
They're not working for those organisations. He's a government asset, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I feel like they're just I'm sure there'll probably be a lot more in the comics, which we're not aware of.
Yeah.
And it could just be that they've been thrown in there, or maybe to explain the fact that when everyone came back, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to if it gets discussed. My next point is Baa Baa Black Sheep and Tokyo Light, which I think we've kind of covered, but I just hope that the actor doesn't sing Baa Baa Black Sheep to his children like that, because it's terrifying.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what prompted it. Maybe if I don't know if Daniel Bruhl has kids.
I think he does.
Maybe it was a case of the director came to him and said, right, okay, so what we want you to do is sing a nursery rhyme to these kids, but we want it to be quite creepy.
Do you think it was the director? I wasn't sure if that was just him. If he was like, oh, I can make this scene even creepier.
I'm pretty sure you can make any nursery rhyme creepy if you start singing like that. If you start singing very slow, very sort of deep, I think you can make it pretty. It's like,
I thought you were going to start, yeah.
I
was going to say, you look like you're about to start singing, James.
Baa Baa Black Sheep. I'm not going through the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. I like the idea that he got given this direction from the director. There was no song in place, and he thought, you know what? No. My kids hate it when I sing Baa Baa Black Sheep. Maybe I'll use this.
This is perfect.
But clearly, those kids weren't taught not to accept candy from strangers. That's rule number one.
I know. We all know this. But I think the fact that Zemo has ways of solving problems is part of the reason why he's just such a wonderful villain. So I'm going to allow it.
Also, part of it, going on the fact that this is definitely at the moment is the Zemo show.
Agreed.
With
featuring
Bucky,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Featuring Bucky and Sam. It's also more the fact that Zemo was the only one to get the information. Yeah,
because it's a bad way of doing it. Like they went in the brash way, and that failed.
I did like the little moment actually when he got the information from the little girl. He gestured back to Bucky and Sam, who were obviously in the corner, and he said, "You see those men over there? They're bad people." I mean, we're starting to see him becoming. He's plotting his way out now. He's figuring out what to do, and I don't know. See, I think Zemo is supposed to be in the next few episodes. I don't know in what capacity, because he's effectively achieved his goal now, mostly.
Well, if I was him, I'd join Carly. I'd befriend her as if everything's well, and then when the opportunity strikes, kill him. Wouldn't? Maybe I'm just being evil, but that's what I do. I mean, he's kind of lost that opportunity now. That's true. It's like, I smashed all your serum. Ha! Can I be friends now? Doesn't really work. That's true. No, okay, so if he's not going with Carly, then... Well, he could try and corrupt John Walker further. Yeah, so once he takes the serum, technically he's now an enemy of Zemo. Yeah, but so's Bucky. I mean, Sam brings this up in the episode because they're talking about the whole thing of... You see, I think Zemo treats Bucky like an asset, not an enemy. He is at the moment, but I mean, if Zemo is... If he's going hard to his cause, which is that there should be no super soldiers, then Bucky is among them. And Sam does bring that up. So whether or not... So this is out. I thought it was going to be a case where, at the end of the day, Bucky had got Zemo out to track down these other super soldiers. So I'm wondering if, in the back of his head, he was thinking, right, okay, well, I'll work with these guys to find the serum, destroy that, and the other super soldiers. And then once they're all dealt with, I've only got one more to deal with. Now he's got two more to deal with, but it's... But now... I don't know. I think, it's an interesting how they play this. They could play this that John Walker runs away, and then John Walker becomes the new asset of Zemo's. They could play it that way.
Yeah, they could do, actually.
But they also could play it that it all gets brushed over with what he does at the end of killing the super soldier.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, because it was filmed by just about everyone. But no, I have. If I was Zemo, I'd try and corrupt John Walker. Absolutely. Because why not? He's got nothing left to lose. He's already out. He's got everything he wants.
Well, this is it, yeah. That's a very good point. I think if John Walker has to go on the run, so to speak, because, yeah, he's just been filmed killing this guy, then, yeah, it's easier for Zemo to then corrupt him, like you say, because it's like, I can help you. I can help you get your revenge, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that like that. Because at the end of the day, if he's been using Bucky, then, yeah, there's nothing to say that he won't use someone else to try and achieve his goal. And we know now that because Carly basically killed Lamar, I mean, we're assuming he's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Oh, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
You when you get the back of your skull cracked in like that and you go boom, I think you're dead. I think you're dead.
I don't know. You never know. It could be at the beginning of episode 5 that Lamar walks out and it's like, dude, what have you done?
I'm going to be critical and say they don't have time for that.
I'm not. Yeah.
He needed to go out.
I'm not serious with that. I mean, yeah, it should. No. He should. If he comes back, if he does do that, then I'm going to be so pissed. But yeah, because Carly's the one that killed Lamar, and that's obviously the whole reason that John Walker starts to lose it. Well, he takes the serum and starts to lose it. Sorry, I meant he's taking the serum before Lamar dies, but
it's already starting to affect him. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that Carly has killed Lamar, that's going to be a motivation for him to work with Zemo because Zemo wants Carly too. So it all. Oh God, that's what's going to happen, isn't it?
Sorry, this is why I said I didn't want to think about it.
I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, that's going to happen, which is fair because again, I think because at the moment we're getting to a point where because Sam and Bucky have they obviously witnessed what he just did there. Now, them being who they are going to want to bring John Walker in now because he's just straight up killed a guy.
I think they're going to get completely grovelled at by the government, like, please bring him back. We lost control. You were right. That's what I would want. I'd want full grovel.
So the whole ending image of this episode is the blood on the Captain America shield. Now, we already know what that shield means to Sam and to Bucky. Bucky probably more so than Sam because, I mean, he straight up wants to take it from John Walker. He wants to liberate it, so to speak. So the fact that has just happened, again, is the blood on the legacy of Steve Rogers. I reckon in this next episode, we're going to have Sam and Bucky fighting John Walker in some capacity. And that might be what leads him to Zemo, I suppose. Because then he's going to have both motivations to play with because Zemo will be able to use him to get Carly, who killed Lamar, and then also take his revenge on Sam and Bucky, who basically would never accept him as a new Captain America and have basically treated him like shit. So he's the perfect asset to then kill both parties, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. When you saw the blood on the shield, did you totally get Watchmen vibes of the smiley face with the blood on it? Or was it just me?
No, I was just, if anything, I was shocked because as far as I recall, Marvel's a pretty bloodless franchise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of of a similar. I'm sure there is. I mean, there's been 22 films, probably more now. I don't know. It's all relatively bloodless. There's not really been that kind of violence or darkness to it, I suppose, because it's not the DC. So yeah, I was more shocked by that.
You're basically saying that this is a DC episode, so no wonder I really like it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm not saying this was a DC episode. I'm saying there's definitely darker elements to it, and I think the fact that you have John Walker basically killing this guy again. Sorry, in terms of mirroring, that whole bringing the shield down on the guy's chest mirrored when in Civil War when Captain America is fighting. Why do you call him Captain America? Steve is fighting Tony, and he brings the shield down on his core to disable the suit, so to speak. But the difference is there that Steve knew when he'd gone too far, because he could have killed Tony straight up there, but didn't. He just disabled his armor. Whereas on this occasion, John Walker's completely lost it and basically butchered this guy in front of everyone, and then obviously got blood on the shield, which is the blood on the legacy of Captain America.
It's going to be great to see how Sam reacts to this, I have to admit. Like, I know that sounds very dark, but like, this is the moment for Sam to be like, I wouldn't have done that. I got that shield. It's mine. Let's kick some butt and get it back.
You know what? I think you're going to be disappointed.
What?
I think there is going to be a confrontation between the three of them. I think they're going to square off against this. but I think Bucky is going to be the one to initiate it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, leave it another episode.
Maybe, I don't know. Sam is definitely going to be the one to kind of be like, dude, you've got to give yourself in, and like reason with him. And Bucky's going to be straight up, no, we're going to beat the crap out of you. I'm taking the shield.
I agree with you that there is going to be some degree of confrontation, so I don't really know why I'm questioning this. Yes, yeah, they're going to have to square up against one another, definitely.
Yeah.
And I hope the Wakandan Dora Milaje rock up, because let's talk about that fight. That fight was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
onto the shield. Like, let's just talk about the shield one where she puts the spear through and he has to drop the shield to get it out. That was beautiful imagery. I loved that.
The whole thing of, I mean, the Wakandans are cool anyway.
Yeah.
So when they walk into the room and John Walker is like, "Hi, Captain America." Like, no, dude, don't be a dude. Don't be an idiot.
You really didn't do your homework, did you? No, you didn't.
There was an element of the way that he was talking to them was kind of like, come on. I mean, if we're going to fight, you're not going to beat me. You're not going to take me on. And I don't know if that was just because he is full of himself or the fact that they were women. I don't know.
Oh, I think it was just full of himself. I don't think he was a misogynist. I think he just was being an idiot.
Right, okay, fair enough. Well, in which case,
that was why it was so great that they were just like, just ignoring him.
No, that's right. That's fine. I wasn't sure if it was something like that, but after that whole fight sequence, when they leave, he's got that moment where obviously he's been defeated and he's there looking very sorry for himself, and he just says they weren't even super soldiers. They've managed to kick the shit out of both of them, and they weren't even serum super soldiers.
Yeah, but they are like the best fighters like ever.
Well, I think it's obviously at that moment where he's like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. There was such defeat in his expression and in the way he delivered that line, which I did quite like. I felt a little bit sorry for him at that point. Not gonna lie.
I thought he was fantastic this episode.
So my housemate at the time, when we were watching this scene, when they worked out, he said, "Ha, he just got beat up by a lot of girls." I was like, well, hold on, no. He doesn't address the fact they're women. He just addresses the fact that they weren't super soldiers, which...
That's why I don't think it was him just thinking it was women. I think he just underestimated them, and that was what was so beautiful about that moment. I mean, you can have it that it was because they were women, but I think he just were like, okay,
oh no, I prefer that it was just the fact that they just managed to kick the shit out of him. I don't think that played into anything, but...
Yeah. I think the actor who's playing John Walker is such a great performance. This episode, his journey from losing against the Wakandas, finding the serum, hiding it, talking to Lamar.
Also,
saying,
called it. I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was a pretty obvious call, but I mean, as soon as Zemo was there, like smashing all these vials, I'm like, there's going to be one more. We're all waiting for it, and then it was there.
Oh yeah.
But I like the fact.
Absolutely.
I did like the fact he didn't take it straight away.
Yes, that was what I was going to say. That journey of taking it, asking Lamar, would you if you had it? Of course, who wouldn't? And that married with the fact that we've had Zemo's conversation at the beginning saying we've never had another Steve Rogers. Like everyone else reacts badly to this. This is why revealing also why Zemo just hates it is just because you just can't trust it. If you knew you were going to get a Steve Rogers every time, fair enough, but you don't. And that was, I really loved how they were building that through the narrative in this episode. It really worked for me.
Right. Well, actually, funny enough, so that you brought up that point. So when Zemo made that comment of there hasn't been another Steve Rogers, well, as far as we're aware, there have, because there was a sire. Well, maybe this is part of the fact that we don't know enough about. I mean, I'm speaking from Asire's backstory in the comics.
You're right.
Obviously, what I should be doing is just talking about it as per the episode. Or the series, sorry. But there was nothing to suggest that Asai he didn't turn bad. He was still a super soldier in the 50s. It's just that he got treated badly by the people that made him. No, but we're going back to the whole, in what happened in episode 2 in terms of Sam getting stopped by the police because he was black. And I've obviously been reading into the backstory of Asai and the fact that he was put in jail for doing his duty, so to speak. And again, I think that I can't recall actually if they do talk about it properly in the episode. But at the end of the day, he became a super soldier. He fought in the 50s, and then he got put in jail for his services. I don't think he actually says it's because of his race, but I suppose it's heavily implied by that whole sequence.
Definitely.
But I don't know. I kind of just thought that there'd be a little look or something between Bucky and Sam at that point in terms of their thinking about Asaya. who still hasn't come back, and I'm still very surprised.
I'm really sorry. I hope he's either in the next episode or the final
I
episode.
really hope they do something with him.
Just to punch Zemo would be very... Because I love Zemo, but he does need to be punched.
Oh no, sorry, we were talking about how John Walker doesn't take the serum straight away, which I did like because at the end of the day, he had that serum, he kept it, he didn't use it straight away. He was still because if he wasn't such a good character or poorly written character, so to speak, they would have just made him take it straight away. But they didn't. They still had that turmoil. He still had that struggle, that conflict, which he then voices
it
to
lasted
Lamar.
about 4 seconds, but still,
No, but it's prompted by because he has the conversation with Lamar. He's asking Lamar if you had the serum, would you take it? And he's like, hell yeah, definitely do that. But it's Lamar's death that obviously. No, sorry, it's when they take Lamar. That's why I keep getting confused. It's not Lamar's death. It's when they take Lamar that becomes his motivation to take it, to save him, to do the job.
Yeah.
And I did kind of like that transition. I suppose I would have technically preferred it if he took the serum after Lamar died. If that was the
No, I
final
liked
straw.
it. No, I liked that because he was already on edge, so he's so it builds into this idea that he wasn't strong enough to stop him, even with the serum.
Well, no, because that's why. Sorry, yes, because there's that conversation that Lamar has. Like, can you imagine how many lives we could have saved if we'd had that serum? And then as soon as Lamar's taken, obviously what's going through John's head is, I've got to save him. I can't lose another one. And then, that's the motivator for him to take the serum.
Yeah.
Which I did like. I mean, I thought that was it felt like a natural progression, so to speak. I know in terms of the sequence of events in the episode, between that conversation and Lamar getting taken, that happened very quickly. But as far as the sequence of events leading to him to make that decision, because it clearly wasn't an easy decision, but then he got to the point where, like you say, he was on edge. Lamar had been taken. He needed to find him, and then he made a snap decision to do that. And I thought that was really good. But I also like the fact. I mean, well, I like and don't like certain aspects of this next point. The serum acted very, very quickly.
Well, you never see him when he takes it, so you don't actually know how much time's passed.
No, but as far as when we see John Walker fighting, and then the next scene, the next frame almost, we see the guy he's fighting getting thrown through a door. I like the fact that you don't see him take it, because when that guy got thrown through the door, I was like, oh my god, he's taken it, he's done it, because it wasn't like we didn't have a moment that was the shock factor, because seeing him take the serum wouldn't have had that same effect.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good. But in terms of like you say, again, it's all to do with the cutting and the editing. But from the moment we see John basically getting beaten up to then seeing him throw someone through the door, there's a very short space of time, and I just thought, oh, that's Cinemax quick.
Well, to be honest, with Steve Rogers, it acted pretty quickly.
Yes, but they were in like a massive laboratory, and
so. No, what is this? What is this weird change of events, James, that I'm defending this? This is very wrong.
I don't know. The whole point was when little Steve went into the pod and then Big Steve came out, it was all very drawn out and dramatic and shouting percentages out at each other.
Yeah, still only took about 5 minutes. What has happened?
But
this is very strange.
They had to drain like most of Brooklyn's power to do it.
Yeah, well,
I know we're talking.
That was the 1940s.
I know we're now talking about the present day. I don't know. I just thought that was very quick. I thought it was something to do with the editing, but I thought that happened very quickly. No, I like the fact that they didn't show him take the serum. I like the fact that we knew instantly when the guy got thrown through the door. Because I suppose there was a split second where we weren't sure if it was John getting thrown through the door. And then when you see him obviously walk out, and Sam and Bucky are just looking at him thinking, oh shit.
I'll be honest, I think it should have been signalled better with the music. If that was a film, the music would have definitely signified that way earlier. There would have been something to have given you some kind of warning. Because I agree with you, there was that moment where you were like, who is that? Oh, it's him. And then, I don't know, the music didn't quite match for me.
No, I think they've used the music quite well in certain aspects. Just in terms of, I'm looking back at a couple of the different episodes now, but when, so in episode 2, when they're doing the whole interview with John Walker, and it's the marching band, but it's a take on the Captain America theme, I thought that was very good. I thought at the beginning of this episode, when Ayo is with Bucky in Wakanda music aside, because I mean that's also awesome, but when she's going through the words, there is the undertones of the Winter Soldier theme as well. I know it all sounds very obvious, but the fact that those themes are all in there. I think there was even a moment actually when right after the Dora Milaje, after they've just taken out Lamar and John Walker, and he says that line, which we've already discussed, that they weren't even super soldiers. I might have to listen back, but I think there is also another. It's like a very slow version of the Captain America theme, which felt quite weak. It's like a weaker version of Captain America. But the fact that the music played into that moment as well, I thought was really good.
I like the music in it, but just that moment, I think they should have signalled it better. Because I agree with you, it wasn't as hard-hitting as it should have been. Can we talk about the Carly and Sam bit over her mother's corpse, which is a very dark location, but I really liked it. Finally, I felt like we actually got Carly. She wasn't acting like a teenager somehow. She actually felt like she was a strong, in control kind of leader, and she could totally stand up to Sam. So that then later on, when she phones Sarah and scares her, I felt like that as a character arc as well it actually laid the ground for it.
Carly's a funny one for me
Because
I can see what they're trying to do or aiming to do. What they're trying to do is, in terms of that scene between Sam and Carly, Sam agrees with what they're trying to do in terms of the fact that they've basically been kicked out of all these countries that they were once welcome in during the blip. Sam appreciates that. He respects that in terms of the fact that it should be about the world coming together, not pushing each other apart. He just doesn't agree with her methods. And I think I don't know, I think the fact that we've obviously seen the fact that Carly blew up the building in the last episode, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with her.
she's finally being taken seriously, is how I felt with that one. Like, she obviously lost her friend, remember? I think it was in the previous episode where he went and stopped them so they could get away on the plane. Or was that the first episode? No, I think that was just...
Second episode, I think.
That was the second episode. And I really was like, to me, that was her emotional turning point, to be like, okay, that's it, I've had enough. Right, what can I do? I've got to get back to see my mum, but no one is taking me seriously, and I know I have allies everywhere. Right, what do I do? I want demands. Okay, I'll kill 11 people and injure 3, and I'm going to settle down my demands. And then
I think it was the other way around, actually. I think she killed 3 and injured 11, which I thought actually undermined what she did. Because I remember hearing, I think, about 3 dead, and I thought, oh, right, okay. I mean, obviously still bad, but not as bad as it could have been, considering that there were more than 3 people in that building when it blew up.
True.
I felt that was a bit of a cop-out, to be fair.
I think it was a bit rushed, but I don't think I didn't feel like it was a complete cop-out.
I thought it was a cop-out that only 3 people died, because that moment when she blew up the building, because, I mean, we discussed this in the previous episodes, when she blew up the building, like, I was like, oh shit, she's done it. She's killed people, because I'd been going on this line of, well, we haven't actually seen them kill anyone yet, we've only seen them injure, so to speak. The fact that it was kind of reduced to 3 people, I don't know, it almost felt like, oh, we can't have people hating her too much. Yeah, it's only 3 people she's killed. Just in case it's not too bad. 3 is fine. I can't see where her story's going, and that's obviously partly a good thing. Right, so this is the thing, okay. So John Walker's killed someone now.
Yes, publicly. Gruesomely.
Yeah, so's Carly. What makes Carly different from John Walker at this stage, other than their cause?
She is a freedom fighter, and he is a paid member of the US government.
Well, he's a soldier.
Yeah.
But from his perspective, so this is it. This is where I can see them trying to work with the themes. They're trying to blur the line. They're trying to make it very grey in the fact that one person's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. From John Walker's perspective, the Flag Smashers, obviously he's got something to prove. Yes, I get that. He's trying to prove that he is up to this job. But at the end of the day, the Flag Smashers to him are the terrorists.
Okay. But he's still supposed to embody this idea of freedom and justice and doing the right thing and not killing unless absolutely necessary. Was that killing absolutely necessary? No. Carly did it
I'm not saying that what John Walker did was right by any means. At the end of the day, yes, he killed him. They killed that guy in cold blood, in a blind rage and in anger.
I took it that Carly was reacting because they'd killed somebody of hers, and
he reacted to her killing one of his. Yeah,
but hers was about getting respect. His was just about all-out power for power's sake. The guy was running away.
Okay, yeah. It was. I don't think it was for power's sake.
No, he wanted to kill him. He killed his friend. He wanted to kill him. Yes, he wanted that satisfaction.
No, see, I think we're talking. I don't think any of it was to do with satisfaction. I think it was just it was blind rage and emotion and anger to a point. I don't think it was a case of finding satisfaction.
Oh, no, it was a debt. It was a debt. He killed his friend, so he's going to kill him. He killed Lamar, so you have to die.
Mm. I don't know. I'm not.
We're going to disagree on this one, I just think.
We are going to disagree on it, and I don't think. At the end of the day, Carly has good intentions, and obviously isn't necessarily going about them in the right way because we see that as voiced by Sam during that whole conversation, which I thought was very well done. Like I do agree with that completely. But I don't know. Like Sam's treating her like a kid to a point because I mean he
But,
even says that she's just a kid.
there's an empathy with that. Like, Lamar was also trying to kill them. They were engaging in this fight. Yeah, they'd taken Lamar, but it was a soldier on soldier. Whereas Carly's trying to get respect. And what is great is that John Walker has done exactly what she needed. She has now made more allies because of what John Walker did. And she can paint herself as the innocent in this. The one trying to, move the world
I think it's
forward.
going to work. I think it's going to work both ways. To be fair, because at the end of the day, Carly's just killed just killed an American agent. We've
True.
got to view it in a certain respect. Is so. All right, okay. John Walker's not an Avenger, but in terms of how, again, I suppose this is because we haven't really seen the public's properly seen the public's reaction to this new Captain America. As far as we're aware, and we've seen in certain scenes where the people ask for his autograph, that they're on board with this idea of new Captain America. So if you view him from the fact that effectively Carly's just killed an Avenger, I know they're not Avengers, but they're saying the public eye they've killed one of America's heroes. There's going to be support flocking to. Oh, I don't know. And I suppose he has just killed someone straight up in public, which is a bit bad. You can't really get around from that.
If you were already on the bench about the Avengers and then you saw that, you are 100% on Carly's side now.
Even if the knowledge that Carly has killed one of America's Avengers, let's say, was also revealed.
I don't consider him an Avenger. He's just a soldier.
No, I'm using that as a comparison, though. I'm using that as a comparison.
Well, nah. Nah.
I don't think that's really going to be resolved for me until I find out what's going to happen with Carly. She is the more innocent. I don't even say innocent. She's not innocent. She knows exactly what she's doing. But I can see her intentions are more pure than John Walker's. I do get that. But at the end of the day, she still killed people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't necessarily make.
I think there's blood on both hands, and I'm really curious as to what the next step is. Because yay, tension, conflict, yay. Did you notice the bleeding out of the ear of John Walker?
No.
Something I spotted that James didn't. Yes, so when he first took the serum, I think you could see that he was bleeding out his ear. And then every time afterwards you saw him, his ear was always bleeding. And then when he killed the guy, it was like really bad down his neck. So I wondered if that was his reaction to the serum. I think that's how it was signalled to us, that he was having a bad reaction to it.
Oh, no. Ooh. Don't know how significant that detail is, but ooh.
I think to me that was just showing that he'd taken the serum and that it was getting worse, and obviously it was beginning to affect him, so he's going to go bad, because villains go bad.
I mean, the fact that he was beating someone to death with his shield, I think, was a signifier that
but
bad.
I like to it signify that there was something was obviously affecting him. So, yeah, no, that was cool. I've got a funny thing about one of the edits of them running was sped up, and it looked really funny.
Oh, yeah,
when he was
I know which one you mean.
That was rough.
Well, hold on. So which one? Because, I mean, there was one where I think Bucky was chasing Carly, and yeah, it was really weirdly shot. Or in terms of their movement. Yes. No, I know exactly which moment. I think, yeah, because you're right. Bucky jumps down after Carly, and then there's a long shot of him running, I think, further into Prague. And yeah, it's like, yeah, it definitely looks sort of very oddly sort of like sped up.
So does so John Walker, when he's chasing after the other super soldier before he kills him, that's also sped up as well. That one to me was more rough than the Bucky one. The Bucky one,
I missed that.
I could cope with a little bit better.
No, it's the fact that I think the way that it was shot in terms of Carly and Bucky both running, I think I've seen it, unfortunately I'm going to reference Twilight now. I think when they're doing running sequences on the trailers being pulled by cars to get that shot, I could just see that because it just felt so out of place. It felt like, you're definitely not. Yeah, no, it didn't work. It just felt very odd. But I suppose, at the end of the day, big budget films do that, so I can't really criticise a TV series.
Well, it's not a film, James. It's a mini series, isn't it?
It is a mini series.
But yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to the next episode a lot more than I thought I was going to.
If anything,
Yeah.
I want to know what they do with Carly now, because obviously that's where we're differing on opinions.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like they've had her in every episode. They've got to give her another moment. I feel like they're building up to her having some kind of.
They've got to do something with her. They've got to do something with
Yeah.
her. I do agree with that. And yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, if you're going to pick who's more bad, it's going to be John Walker. But yeah, I don't think she's not innocent in all of this.
No, that's true.
I do think the show is doing quite a good job of everything's not black and white. They are very much going down the grey area, which I do enjoy. I am liking that. When you start to sort of bury into it, I think they have done a very good job, except with Simon Bucky.
Which is it's just unfortunate that they're the main characters, James.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I know. That's the weird thing. They have got isolated moments where they are doing character development, but really, your most developed characters should be the title roles and not all your supporting characters, which I do think is where they're dropping slightly. We do get that moment with Sam in this episode where he's talking with Carly, and like you say, he is acting more like Captain America, so to speak, or that idea of Captain America.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to? Is that when they do go home to the US, Bucky's going to get arrested for missing another one of his therapy appointments.
Oh, that is so happening, isn't it?
I know. And it's like, is it going to be John Walker and Bucky sharing a cell or something?
No, in fact, what we'll see, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I've literally just thought of that, this, as you said that. So what we're going to do, because obviously we had the first therapy scene with Sam and Bucky, where they were just like, they weren't opening up, they weren't talking to each other properly anyway, and they just had their staring contest. If arrest Bucky for missing more of his therapy sessions and they bring Sam into that, they're going to both open up because they've been on this journey. They've both learned what it means to be Captain America and all this sort of stuff. I kind of hope they do that because it's going to be so bad and so cheesy. But then
they're not going to do that, James.
Right, it's been said here. It's been said here. If it happens in the next 2 episodes, I'm going to be telling you I told you so.
I don't want that to happen, but you're right, it's going to happen.
We've still got Sharon Carter appearing very briefly in this episode, and just alluding more to the fact that she is the power broker, considering there was that whole sequence when she's on the phone and like,
no one stopped her or anything.
All the armed guards, and then she's in what's clearly some sort of nightclub alone on a computer doing all this hacky stuff.
Yeah, she's power broker. I put my hands up. I messed that up. She's definitely the power broker.
Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings, so we'll see what happens in the next few.
Well, she's kind of a skinny lady sings, surely.
Well, specifically means Sharon. Bloody hell.
She's just a deciding factor, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know. She was kind of tagged on in that episode. I'm not entirely sure what she was there for.
She had to tell them that.
She
phoned them about something.
I think she warned them that. Oh no, that was it, right? Yeah, because they went to meet Carly right after Carly said "come alone," and then Bucky came with him
because he needs a wing wang. Boom boom.
Literally, don't know. That whole thing was a little bit shady. I think Carly did want to kill John Walker to make a statement. I think that was what fueled that whole thing, and then Sam and Bucky were trying to stop that because that's not going to help Carly's case. And they are about preserving life, so...
And then Captain America killed her number 2. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, the sweet bitter irony that we also have that lovely scene from her number 2 saying that he always looked up to Captain America.
I know. That was very twee.
And then, at the very end, he looks up and it's Captain America killing him.
It was a bit on the nose for me, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I know it was. If they'd maybe discussed that a couple of episodes beforehand, they might have got away with it as a bit of foreshadowing. Doing it in the same episode doesn't really have the same effect. But then again, I suppose if they had done it in a previous episode, we probably would have forgotten.
No, I don't think we would have.
No, it's different if it's in the film.
That would have been a character moment, James. I'd have remembered the character moment.
Only because whenever a character moment happens, it's like, yes, they did it! They did it!
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was very on the nose. I don't know. I still liked it though. I felt like it was a little bit shoehorned in, but
yeah, I feel like if they wanted to do that, they should have done a shot of like, I don't know. I find the edit on this one odd. I really do, because if you're going to say something like that, have a shot of from his perspective looking up at Captain America, and I just don't think
you did.
Well,
There was that shot because it was.
I suppose before he lifted it, wasn't it? When the first
Yeah.
time he comes down, that was it.
Yeah, there was the shot of John Walker's very angry face lifting the shield up, and then it then came down and etc.
Okay.
It was a very somber moment to try and end on.
It was. I liked it. Hey, it ended on a cliffhanger. I'm happy. I'm happy. If they keep this level up, I'm woo.
We got 4 episodes in, and she's happy. It took us 4 weeks.
We got there.
Oh, funny. That was funny.
Oh, dear.
Well, yeah, no, 2 episodes left, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. And we still haven't really developed Sam or Bucky, so yeah. We'll see.
Baby steps. Baby steps. It's coming. It's all that development is going to happen in the final episode.
Ah, wishful thinking, James.
It's being said that there is a surprise cameo at the end of episode 5. Any thoughts?
Tony Stark?
Dead.
Oh yeah, valid.
But then again, never say never. I don't know who it could be.
It wouldn't be Black Widow.
Also dead.
Could. Yeah, okay, you're right. Why do I keep doing that? I'm trying to think of someone who's like important but not important. Hulk? No, who's cheap? Come on, who's cheap? Who's cheap? I don't know, who are you thinking, James?
I don't know. Part of me does think. I think I might have touched upon this when we were talking about the last episode, to be fair. Because I've definitely mentioned the Paul Bettany thing before.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit cautious. It could just be...
Yeah, this is it. I'd be optimistically cautious. But I don't know. They're making out that it's going to be this tear-jerking cameo. So that makes me think that it is something to do with Chadwick Boseman. But then I think they're talking about this being a cameo from a character that's in Marvel, but maybe not in the MCU. I don't know. It's a bit confusing.
Then I'm out.
I have a feeling it might have been a case of one person said, "Oh, we've got this amazing cameo at the end of episode 5. It's going to be a real tearjerker," and then some other person thought, "No, we can't say that. We can't say that. Quickly, change it. It's a character that's not in the MCU but in Marvel." So I don't know. Who knows?
That could be Sharon's number 2 confessing that, anything. That could be, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It could be absolutely anything.
I'd like it to be Chadwick Boseman.
I'm curious. Put it this way. It's going to be something that's going to be discussed in the next episode.
Yes.
Whether or not it was worth that comment or another red herring. In which case, if it is another red herring, I am not believing anything that comes out of a Marvel writer, producer, director, or actor in the near future. Maybe it's Loki. The look on your face was like, no, James. No.
I want you to be wrong, but I've seen the new trailer for Loki, and I'm like, they're doing time travel and jumps and stuff. I thought that was going to be an opening to Doctor Strange, to be honest. Oh, it could be Doctor Strange.
Why would he show up?
Why would anyone show up, James?
Well, the Wakandans are there. That's what I mean. So the Wakandans are already part of the story, which is why I thought Chadwick Boseman. But I don't know.
I want it to be him because he's awesome, and it would be lovely as like a final farewell. Yes, I'm going to say that.
I don't know.
That's optimistic, though. I think it could be, a Hydra number 2. I don't know. It could be anyone.
The surprise tear-jerking cameo was Hydra Grunt number 2.
Yeah, I've been burned before, James. What can I say? Yeah. After the Paul Bettany one,
I know.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Oh, you got to hand it to him.
Favourite moment this episode, then?
Ooh. Favourite moments? Oh, do I have to pick one?
Yes.
It's going to be the fight sequence with the Dora Milaje. It was going to be between that or the opening Bucky scene, but yeah, the Dora Milaje was just a brilliant fight sequence.
My favourite moment was definitely Zemo drinking the tea, which I still think was bloody brilliant. Which is only second to, which I think is, Wyatt Russell's performance this episode was just bang on. I think he did a wonderful job. And his journey was just awesome. And then the worst moment has definitely got to be the constipation face on Bucky.
I can't believe you're ruining that scene for me.
You're welcome, James.
You're probably ruining it for countless others as well. So, I mean, email in to hurl abuse. Be
gentle.
Oh, worst moment. Well, it's not going to be constipation face because I don't know if I really had a worst moment. I thought this.
We can do the running. We can do the bad edit running, the Twilight running,
the really weird running. It's either that or I'm just going to have to revert back to the fact that Well, all right, okay. It's not my worst moment in terms of the way it was done, but I just physically cringed both times. No, but when John Walker was like, "No, we've given Sam enough time," and then barged in to arrest Carly. What wasn't a worse moment in terms of it was done badly or anything like that. It was just the moment that I was like, "No, you fool!" It was a moment that
like that.
I was screaming at the screen, it's like, "Oh, you absolute tosser!" Uh, no, I thought it was. I thought it was a pretty tight knit episode, actually. To be fair,
Definitely, definitely, and actually ended like an episode.
yeah. Hopefully the next two are the same.
Yes, fingers crossed. You can find Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+. Thank you for listening to a Bit of Film podcast with Hattie and James. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to share it with your friends, families, and mortal enemies. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can contact us through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or you can always email us at abitoffilm@gmail.com with new theories, opinions, and comments. We'd love to read them. See you next week, guys.